Have you ever looked back at the toxic relationship and wondered, why did I eventually stop trying? And you may have reached a point where you knew something wasn't right, but also felt strangely powerless to change it. And that can happen for a very specific psychological reason. When you repeatedly try to change a situation and your efforts don't produce any kind of lasting result, your brain then starts learning something from that experience. It's not a I don't care, but it's more of my actions don't seem to make a difference. And that's the basic idea behind learned helplessness. Your brain is constantly learning from cause and effect. I do something and then something happens. So if over and over again you experience a situation where your actions fail to produce meaningful change, eventually your brain can stop expecting them to. And that's when something very subtle happens. You don't necessarily stop wanting change, you stop expecting the change to be possible. And this can be especially powerful in relationships where you repeatedly try to resolve the same problems. Eventually, you don't have to consciously decide, I'm not going to try anymore. The expectation gets there first. You think, what's the point? And that thought can change your behavior. You might stop bringing things up, stop trying to explain, stop looking for another kind of solution. Not because you've now decided the situation is acceptable, but because you've learned that your effort hasn't been effective. And that's an important distinction. So it's not simply, why didn't I try harder? It becomes, what had my experiences taught me about trying? Because sometimes what looks like being passive is actually the end result of a very long period of trying. The answer isn't learning how to control the other person. You can't control them. You can't make them accountable. And you definitely can't make them respect your boundaries. So, agency starts somewhere much simpler, recognizing what is still yours to choose. You may not control their behavior, but you can decide what you participate in. You can decide what you accept, you can decide what you do next, and every time you make a choice and act on it, you give your brain new information. My actions still matter. And that's how agency begins to return. Not through one huge moment of strength, through repeated evidence that you still have choices. So if you've ever wondered, why did I stop trying? Don't automatically answer that question with something negative. Sometimes the more accurate answer is, because I have learned that trying didn't change the outcome. And understanding that doesn't remove your responsibility, it removes some of that mystery. And sometimes understanding why you responded the way you did is the first step towards responding differently.